When that recorder hit the table, the whole room went silent. Word on the street is Yo Gotti's name just got pulled into something darker than business beef. Rumors been swirling that the CMG boss was recorded talking reckless, without even knowing the feds was listening about the death of FastCash C Money, one of Memphis's upcoming rappers who got taken out back in 2023. Now, whether it was a setup, a snitch move, or just street paranoia, one thing's for sure: this new recording got the city whispering. People saying Gotti's crew might have said too much, and if the wrong audio gets leaked, it could open a whole new case. So let's break down how one of Memphis's most respected moguls ended up in the middle of another deadly storm. One connected to loyalty, betrayal, and silence, the kind that could shake CMG to its core. Before the rumors, before the whispers about a secret recording, there was FastCash C Money, a young Memphis rapper with ties to CMG-affiliated circles. He was flashy, loud, and confident, representing the new wave of Memphis street rap. But behind all that ice, there was tension. The Memphis rap scene been split down the middle for years. CMG on one side, Paper Route Empire on the other. After Young Dolph's death in 2021, the whole city changed. Every move, every word got watched. FastCash C Money, whose real name was Mario Deloge, got caught in that crossfire of fame and street politics. In July 2023, he was shot and killed outside a Memphis apartment complex. Cops said it looked targeted, but no one came forward. No arrests, no witnesses, just silence. Then came the whispers that someone in CMG might have been talking reckless about that night. Nobody thought much of it until now. Out in Memphis, the talk is loud but divided. Some folks say this is just Fed propaganda, the same way they've been trying to pin things on every successful black man coming out the hood. Gotti been building businesses, buying properties, pushing artists like Moneybagg Yo, 42 Doug, ESTG, and Glorilla. Why would he risk all that talking crazy? Others, though, they ain't so sure. The hood say Gotti been under pressure since Dolph passed. Every move he make now got eyes on it. If that recording turns out to be real, even if it don't prove no crime, it could bring heavy smoke to his brand, his artists, and CMG's public image. On Instagram, some users claiming they heard snippets of the alleged convo on private stories. Others call it cap-saying blogs just trying to get clicks off Gotti's name. But one thing that stood out, a close affiliate of C Money posted this cryptic message on Facebook. All that talking in rooms ain't safe no more. God hear what y'all say, and so do the streets. That line sent chills, because it made it sound like somebody know more than they letting on.
What do you think about the leadership, though? Because we see, like, you know, the Yo Gottis, the Dolphs, they had a situation, and it's all in the same area. Where, like, the people are there people that could step up and say, all right, let's sit these brothers down and try to come to some type of reconciliation?
Well,
is that there?
I'm gonna say this. I don't know they personal business like that, so right. I ain't gonna speak on it. But I'll say, in a sense of Memphis people down here, we have a lot of leaders.
When Memphis legends start reacting to street politics, you know something's serious going down. The city already on edge, the streets talking crazy, and out of nowhere, word spread that Yo Gotti, CMG's general, just got caught up after new evidence dropped in that FastCash C Money murder case. But what really shook the city wasn't just the news of Gotti allegedly being detained, it was how Project Pat, one of Memphis's OG voices, and a man who's seen the streets turn bloody over less, stepped out and reacted to it. Because this ain't just a rap beef. This is history, loyalty, and street politics catching up with empire money.
What do you think about the leadership, though? Because we see, like, you know, the Yo Gottis, the Dolphs, they had a situation, and it's all in the same area. Where, like, the people are there people that could step up and say, all right, let's sit these brothers down and try to come to some type of reconciliation?
Well,
is that there?
I'm gonna say this. I don't know they personal business like that, so right. I ain't gonna speak on it. But I'll say, in a sense of Memphis people down here, we have a lot of leaders.
Project Pat been that real Memphis historian, older brother of Juicy J, part of 3-6 Mafia, and one of the first to really show the world what that Memphis grime sound like. Dark beats, dope talk, and survival stories from North Memphis blocks. He came up before CMG even existed, when Yo Gotti was still moving around as Lil Yo, pushing mixtapes out the trunk. Back in them early 2000s, both camps respected each other but never really moved as one. Project Pat and 3-6 ran the city musically. Yo Gotti and his CMG camp came later, bringing that trap wave with cats like Zedzilla, Snooty Wild, and later Moneybagg Yo, Black Youngsta, and ESTG. But as CMG started rising, the city started dividing. You either rocked with Dolph and PRE or Gotti and CMG. Ain't no middle ground? Then came FastCash C Money, a young Memphis rapper signed under Gotti's orbit, reppin' that FastCash crew. He was buzzing, dropping heavy street anthems, making his name in them local circuits. But in 2023, everything changed. C Money got caught up in a deadly case that turned the whole Memphis scene cold. Now fast forward to 2025, police supposedly find new evidence linking C Money's movements and communications to CMG associates. That's when Yo Gotti's name started popping back up in whispers.
Memphis police say dozens of rounds were fired just after midnight in Frazier. Officers were called to a home in Frazier that had been shot up near Macaulay Drive and Macaulay Cove. Then, officers found Smith shot to death about a half a mile away. Hours later, a family member confirmed the news with Fox 13, and a GoFundMe was set up to help with funeral costs.
Now, let's be clear. Official reports on Yo Gotti being arrested are still foggy. Some say he was brought in for questioning, not technically arrested. But in the internet age, perception is everything. Clips started circulating online of Project Pat, speaking on the situation, not directly accusing Gotti, but talking about karma, street choices, and how the energy you put out always come back. One quote stood out heavy. "Ain't no man bigger than the block he come from. You can build an empire, but if that foundation got blood on it, the structure gonna crack eventually." Fans instantly took that as a subliminal toward Gotti and CMG, especially since Pat been one of the few Memphis OGs who stayed neutral through all that Dolph versus Gotti smoke. He never dissed PRE or CMG. He just kept reppin' real Memphis, no politics. But this time, his tone hit different. People could feel he was addressing something real close to home. The streets react.
From Exit 8 to Heaven Gates, family and friends coming together to say goodbye to Courtney Smith, also known as Memphis rapper FastCash C Money.
He was a phenomenal man. I don't care what picture they try to paint for him. He was a great man. Give you the shirt off his back. You will be missed. Long live C Money.
Some old heads say, man, Gotti been playing with fire for years, them CMG boys too deep in them streets. Others say, nah, they trying to tear a black empire down. Gotti turned nothing into millions, they mad he made it legit. The city's divided like always. You got CMG loyalists riding for they camp, reminding folks that Gotti been clean for years running his label, signing artists, staying out of trouble. Then you got PRE supporters who feel this just karma finally catching up. They've been saying since Dolph died that the city never got closure. And Project Pat? To them, he just speaking truth from experience. Cause if anybody know how the streets move in Memphis, it's Pat. He's seen homies turn to enemies. Artists lose. They lives to beefs and the feds come down when the money starts stacking too high. The underground whispers.
Our problem, our challenge is state law is weak. We have weak state laws that allow easy and widespread access to guns, while at the same time not punishing the wrongful use of those guns.
Rumors swirl that CMG operations from label money to street affiliates been under quiet investigation for over a year. The death of Big Jook last year only intensified the pressure. Sources claim that after Jook's murder, feds re-examined connections between CMG members and local Memphis crews involved in retaliation shootings. And with C Money's name resurfacing after police found digital evidence, it ain't far-fetched to think that other names might come up next. Project Pat's timing speaking on karma right when this all hit made folks think he knew something deeper than the blogs. Maybe not specifics, but energy. He'd been through his own federal run-ins before, so when he talked, the tone hit different. You can tell he not just speculating, he understands how the game really moved behind the curtains. The streets don't care how much money you make. The trap don't retire nobody. Either you make peace with your past, or your past make peace with you. That line went viral. Memphis rappers from Key Glock to Big 30 even reposted clips of it on their stories. It hit because it's real. Everybody know what happened to Dolph? Everybody's seen how quick CMG lost Jook. And now, with Gotti's name floating in them investigation rumors, it feels like the cycle just never ends. Pat's message ain't about taking sides, it's about survival. He trying to remind the young dudes that getting money ain't the finish line staying free is. Mainstream hip-hop sites were cautious using words like reportedly, allegedly, rumors suggest. But street media, YouTube channels, and IG pages lit the match. Memphis blogs like 901 TV, The Tea on the Streets, and Dirty South League started posting breaking clips showing alleged police reports and mugshots, some real, some fake. That's when Project Pat's interview became the center of it all. Because instead of pushing gossip, he gave context. He reminded fans that what we see online is just the surface. As one blogger put it, Project Pat ain't clout chasing. He warning these dudes, you can't outrun energy. So where does this leave Memphis? A city built on hustle, haunted by loyalty, and cursed by cycles of beef. Yo Gotti's name staying in the headlines, whether guilty or not, shows how deep the streets run in this game. FastCash C Money's case might just be another chapter in a long story of how success don't always erase street ties. And Project Pat? He reminded everybody what being a real OG looked like. Not glorifying the past, but learning from it. As the investigation unfolds, only time can tell what's real or just noise. But one thing for sure, Memphis ain't forgetting none of this. The city's still mourning Dolph, still watching CMG, and still listening to every word from the OGs like Project Pat. Because in a city where legends die young and loyalty get tested daily, sometimes the realest reaction ain't about pointing fingers, it's about warning the next man not to make the same mistake. And that's exactly what Project Pat